Good morning and welcome to the Godstone Ranch School of the Arts. My name is Karen Garrett and this is our grand finale for the Global Art Exhibition homework. So this is number 9. I think we had scheduled 10, but it wound up being 9. So hey, we can flow with it, right? We're artists. We have our work here and we have the last one. But I wanted to challenge you in the last piece we did, which was the glass. My challenge was to you to think about how you could use all of the skills that we went through for the past 8 pieces to put into and incorporate into your final masterpiece. So that was the intention, and I'm going to go through how I went through my creative process. I want to see what you can do with your creative process. So what I'd like to do right quick is remind ourselves of what we did before we start number 9. So I'm going to pause the camera and then I'm going to show you all of our pieces one by one. This was our first piece we did out of, remember we're using everything from home and not using traditional art supplies. This is a regular piece of notebook paper and we used a skewer, barbecue stick skewer with soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, and balsamic vinegar. We learned how to do shapes, which is rectangles, circles, and set up a still life so that we could show space. We only used our lines going horizontally, and so this was our very first piece, kind of a sepia tone. It's a beautiful piece. Remember, this was our paper towel, empty paper towel holder, because everybody was worried about toilet paper and paper towels at that point. This was my suitcase that I used to take my school stuff to school with me, but then, you know, everybody went online for school now, so I didn't have to take anywhere, plus everyone can't travel. So that was piece 1. This is a month, and let's see, this is a month, a little bit less than a month ago. Remember, we were all asked to stay inside, so it would be cross hatching. So this cross hatching, remember that was the week that I did the whole video. It was my second time to use the camera, and I didn't quite get it, so it erased everything, so we had a long conversation instead. So you've never seen this piece. This is house shoes. Remember, I asked everybody to do house shoes because, and I gave you the little history on that with lesson number 2. But anyway, here's house shoes watching TV, and obviously the coronavirus image, which we see all the time. That wasn't exactly what I saw. I saw 2 people talking, but so I added this in and I created my own. Plus then I added the world in the back. And so what you were trying to do is diagonal and then crisscross hatching in order to create this piece with your basic graphite pencils and erasers. So this one is house shoes from 325. This is the third piece we did. This is the studio kitchen, and remember we started the line here. This is called continuous line, and we used a ballpoint pen from just the desk. And so the goal was to go around and never overlap your line so that you could follow this like a little trail. This is from 326, 2020, and go all the way through the entire piece without overlapping your line. So that's called continuous line, and we used a basic ballpoint pen. So these are my little cardinals: toaster, sink, stove and oven, my little art, refrigerator, and my pencil cup, scissors, my old steady ruler there. Oh, lucky. Alright, so that was number 3. So this is number 4. It was contour lines to show the direction of the surfaces, and so we would usually do hands, and so since we were so preoccupied with hands, this is 330. I did, you know, the gloves where we take them off and then they wind up being kind of a wad like that. So that's what I did. Plus I'm a sculptor. I have a bachelor's in painting and a minor in clay. So a lot of drawing, obviously, and so I really enjoyed drawing this with a regular pencil, ballpoint pen, and a Sharpie marker. We added Sharpie markers in, and so this was my contour hands project. This was number 5. We've all been cooking at home because the restaurants are closed, and so we chose to draw our utensils in our drawer, and we used all the pencils from our pen cups on our desk or whatever we could find at home to see which ones were darker and lighter so that we could do a beautiful piece that has metal, wood, plastic, and I really loved doing this piece. I was happy that my inside of my drawer was black because it really did bring those out, and I hope yours is wonderful how you did yours. I'd love to see it. Complex, it's a complex composition. This was on the 8th, which was before Passover and Easter. This was our metal bowl. I loved the sculpture I built with these gigantic bowls that I've had for a very long time, and so I wound up using magazines and piecing it all together. Also, we talked about adding words through this process, and so I found home in the exact right color I wanted, and I was so excited about it. This was a wonderful piece that we got to do together. Remember, we were trying to decide whether I should keep the woven instead of putting it with my wicker. I chose to keep it just because that's what we talked about, and I wanted to remember our conversation together, and plus the creative process. And we used flour and water glue to finish this beautiful piece, and I was so happy to use colors. It's coming in on the spring and looking forward to Easter, and so I just always look forward to seeing the colors. This was Easter, and so I did wicker because of Easter baskets, and I also made Easter cookies. We used makeup because I have no paint here. Had no idea how that would work, but I'm so incredibly in love with this piece. I love it very much. That was my eyeliner right there, lipsticks and eyeshadows. So I hope you had some of that at your house. I really love this piece. That was our Easter piece, again, color, which I love in the spring. This was our glass piece, and I did the lamp with the light shining through it all over the wall. So I already told you that I'm looking for some, once I go back to the store, you know, when it's a good idea to do that, I'm going to get some white out and add some highlights to this piece to show the flickering light, but that's the glass or crystal that, you know, light is going through. We talked about that. Okay, so here is the inside and obviously the outside. So if you will look, here's the patio, and you can see down and far. It's a nice view, and I've been watching all of the emptiness, you know, nobody driving, no cars, just this quiet. You can hear the birds, which is really nice. I could see a good distance, which made me feel like I had a huger space than I do, and it's been nice. But if you notice this beautiful white natural light, it's just fantastic, especially right now in the spring. You know, it's not gray anymore, it's just so happy and beautiful. So so I have this as that's what I wanted to do. Okay, so let me show you what I did. Okay, so I took a regular piece of paper like we usually do, and I drew my 2/3. I took a picture of the room, and I sat on the patio, which was very nice, and I drew the whole space, and I really got into it. So here you go. You can see, so you can see what I did. A lot of the detail work, my dog, the inside, the outside, and then I was about to do all of the architecture of looking down and out on the world, you know, because I have thought about all of those windows and people in high rises, and you know, not people because I didn't see very many, but you know what I mean, all of the windows, you know there's people in there. It's kind of weird. So if they're not out, they're in, right? So we were supposed to be in. So my next phase was going to be doing all of that. So when I challenged you to use all of your techniques that we were doing, here's what my plan was. And my plan changed because that's what I do. Okay, so down here, I was going to do the carpet in continuous line. I was going to do the rug in my sepia tone. I was going to do my dog as the light. He's so cute. I was going to make him glass and then light shooting all over in here. I started a painting up here, so I was going to use makeup, but then I thought, no, I was going to do, maybe I'll just use that for the cross hatching. Then I did the chairs and the table. I thought back to the basket, and I said, yeah, I'll do that on the brown paper, so I'll cut those out and do makeup on them for the wicker. Then I thought I'm going to do, like with the hands, you know, contour, I could use my Sharpie marker. And then remember when I did the black bowls and I did the extra black magazine piece that so I could show you how to draw over the white lines. So I thought I'd do that over the top here. And so there'd be a separation from here to there. And so, oh, and back here was going to be such a blast. I was going to make all of these buildings, and I was trying, okay, since all this is in perspective, I thought maybe I'll do this out of perspective. So, because it is kind of out of perspective right now, the whole world. So I thought, and then I'll do all of those beautiful colors from the magazines, vivid, you know, how I was just so crazy about my metal bowls. So then I thought, okay, that will cover everything, and it'll be great. And so, what I started to do, let me get my scissors, is I started to cut apart. I traced it so that I could have this to show you. And then so what I started to do is I started to cut apart the pieces that were in the sections, you know what I mean? And you may want to do this too. So this became, remember the black paper I was going to use that I made from the magazines. So I did that. I went back to my cupboard and I got that piece and I was like, I'm so glad I had that. And so then I laid it on top of it, traced it, and cut that out. Perfect. So that was done. Then I said, okay, and I cut my dog out because he was going to be my glass, my light, my crystal. And so I was going to have him be on white paper. So there he is, ready. Oops. And so then I cut out my rug, which fell on somewhere and I lost it. But I cut that out. Then I was going to have all the boards. Then I got really lost in sitting there drawing the carpet. Got it cut out. This was really fun. I loved cutting out my chair and table and the little brown footstool. Okay, and then I was going to have the horizon line, so that was the whole section that I was going to do the colors everywhere. And then I thought I was going to cut out all of these black bars, and there's more black bars that I wanted to, you know, on the patio fence, whatever you call it. And that was fun with no X-Acto knife and old trusty, you know, my ruler. that's broken. But anyway, I got rid of the painting, didn't want to do that anymore. And so now I'm into creating, okay, the thing. So I started cutting out the black, did that. Then I started cutting out the fence, did that. All this was now cut out. So I have all my pieces ready to go with correct paper, you know, the brown paper or the black magazine paper, and then stuff. Well, things changed along the way as I am a creator. So, and you will be too. Now, here's what I wound up with. I wound up when I started with the black and then the black bars here on the patio, it almost created like a cage or a fence or a jail. And I'm not a negative person, but it was sort of intensely appropriate, even though I don't feel exactly like that until I made it black like that. And so then I had to think about, okay. Well, I had my brown chair, table, and stool. And I liked that because it kind of gave that human element of being inside. And now I'm looking out. All right, so now, okay. So do I work super hard with details all over the whole entire thing like my original concept was? Yes, of course, more is better, right? Until I just put just the white paper with the black just to see what my shapes look like. And then I realized that too much, mucky muck, you know, too much, clean it up. And so I kind of went minimal, and we've proven that we have talent, we've proven we can draw, we've proven we can use all kinds of materials, papers, and then we can take the challenge, right? So I was like, I don't have to prove anything anymore, and not that I did in the beginning anyway, but on this piece, I don't have to prove every drawing skill to show that I did it because the exhibition is already finished, right? Except for this piece. And so I'll show you what I wound up with, and then I started second guessing myself until I went through every other road, and then I stopped second guessing myself and I became in love with my piece again. Exactly like it was. All right, so this, you know that my favorite color is yellow. And so what I wound up doing was just making the inside yellow. And I made the outside white, and then the black with the brown chairs. No extra detail. And yes, I drew all of this stuff, but I didn't draw anymore. I used the drawing to cut the pieces. And so let's talk about this. So with my concept, I thought, you know, I haven't heard anyone on TV or even Twitter or Facebook or anything say one word about not wanting to be home. Not like, I hated it, you know, nothing. We like going home, it's our home. So there's nothing wrong, it's not a negative to say go home. So I have not heard one person say, I don't want to be home, this is the most horrible thing. So it's actually been pleasant to be at home. What's not so pleasant, we've already talked about in a lot of these things, is that, you know, the financial and what's with our jobs in the future, but being home is not a bad thing. So when I was looking through what I have in one of my college notebooks, I had some canary yellow paper, which you'll see my 3-hole punch on the side there, and I had red, and so I thought, well, I need to make the inside a color. Well, I love yellow, so I did yellow. And then I did the back outside white, and I said, okay, now don't just stay there. Make sure you're sure. So then I did red, and then I said, well, maybe I need more detail. So then I added flowers on the inside, and I took that off. I said, no. And then, hold on, I'll show you 1 second. Stop. Okay, so then I thought, well, I'll just take, you know, a magazine and do something inside with that. But then all I wanted to do is look at that, and I don't want to look at that anymore. Put the flowers on the inside because I wish I could have the flowers on the outside, but then all I wanted to do is look at the flowers on the inside, but it was still taking away the focus. And I thought, well, I'll just use ads on the inside, and then do a whole bunch of colors on the outside, over the patio, but then that was just adding too much to an already finished concept. Okay, so here's what I wound up with, and I really love it. I never thought I would really love it, but I love it. So I am going to now pause this and show you the finished piece. So that's it, and I'm just completely thrilled with it. I think that it's powerful because, like up here, let me show you. So had I done the flowers at the bottom, then all I would want to see is the inside with the flowers, and it would have taken away the most important part, which is outside. If I had used another color, then it would just look like I'm trying to be decorative. If I did ads, then we've already done things that are inside the house, and that just didn't help. Just made me want to read the ad and take away my focus again. So then with the red, yeah, it made it too design oriented, if you ask me. And also red is China. I didn't really want to go there either. And what does red of China mean to me? Nothing. So that's when I wound up going back to yellow. And so at this point, yes, it's very minimal. You can actually see some architecture in this black, which I really truly love, and the texture of it compared to this very flat white and very flat yellow. But I also wanted to show that there's no, being home is just fine. Being outside could be, it's mysterious now, but it's also beautiful white light. So anyway, that is my finished piece, and I'm very proud of it. I'm going to sign it right now. Let me get my pencil. Sign my last piece. I want to get a pen, just a minute. Be sure to sign your work. I've loved being with you for the Global Art Exhibition Homework. This is our grand finale. My name is Karen Garrett. I wanted to tell you thank you so much for being a part of this with me. This is season 1, and I don't know what we'll do season 2. Hopefully it'll be something exciting just like this, but better, not being stuck in our house, on a more positive note. Thank you for coming to the Godstone Ranch School of the Arts. I wanted to let you know that God loves you very, very much, and so do we. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.